a speaker, the chief whip, as well as all the leadership of the legislature. Honourable members, we wish to first of all indicate that we learned with shock and disappointment about the brutal attack of more than 10 people, the majority of whom were women, during the 110 commemoration of King Dinizulu KwaXeza Sports Field on Saturday. This barbaric act stole the limelight away from the major event, which was to celebrate the life and times of King Dinizulu, the Zulu king who encouraged unity and dignity for all the people of South Africa. King Dinizulu was not only the liberator for KwaZulu-Natal, but was the liberator for South Africa, because he called on all the nations to unite and fight against the colonial regime. To make matters worse, the heinous attack took place at the event, which was attended by His Majesty the King, Mrs. Zulu Zwelithini, His Excellency the President of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Ramaphosa, and members of the royal family. This really, honorable members, we found it totally unacceptable. We condemn the attack with the contempt it deserves and urge all perpetrators to refrain from embarking on this diabolical act in the future, but also call on the police to make arrest of these criminals, people. Honorable members, this year's Human Rights Day, which take place in this year, as the Honorable Speaker has indicated, will be celebrating the 3 days of democracy, which will take place in Indumo Sports Field in Mkhanyakude. The theme for this year's commemoration is aptly entitled 3 Decades of Respect for Promotion of Human Rights. This year's theme pays tribute to the 30th anniversary of freedom and democracy. The whole month of March will be used to reflect on our achievements, to promote respect for basic human rights and restoring human dignity in the line with the Bill of Rights. The history of Human Rights Day is grounded in the Sharpeville massacre that took place on the 21st of March in 1960, where the apartheid police shot and killed 69 people during a peaceful protest march. The month is also used to honor those who fought for our liberation and to celebrate the many rights guaranteed under our Constitution that we continue to enjoy today. The 30 years of democracy is an opportunity to celebrate the great strides we have made in building a democracy that is founded on equal human rights for all its people. We are pleased that the successive administrations since 1994 have taken bold steps to ensure that these rights are realized by all South Africans. The multi-party political intervention, honourable members, on Friday, the 22nd of March, the Honourable Premier of the province, alongside the MEC for Transport, Community Safety and Liaison, Honourable Somuka, will convene a sitting of the Multi-Party Political Intervention Committee to outline proactive strategies to ensure that political tolerance and peaceful coexistence is realized in our for May 29 general elections. We hope that this convention will go a long way to quell the heightened political emotions which accompany the announcement of general elections. The provincial government, working closely with the Independent Electoral Commission, the Justice, Crime and Prevention and Security Cluster, has done extensive work to work that peace and stability is achieved in our province. Reports from the state of the JCPS cluster have identified political hotspots areas where increased political and police deployment is necessary to ensure that stability is restored. It also continues to engage with leaders of different political parties and independent candidates to ensure that a culture of political tolerance is in order of the day. As we are fast approaching the national and provincial elections, problematic areas such as the one of Nongoma, eThekwini, Newcastle, KwaMaphumulo, and many others, which have seen political violence fueling and the conflicts, have been given special attention, and proactive plans have been drawn to squash all elements of intolerance that may arise. Leaders and representatives from various political parties will also sign a pledge to show their commitment to working within the Electoral Code of Conduct and promoting political tolerance during this election period and beyond. Political parties will also have an opportunity to confirm and introduce their chosen representatives who will be provincial and district structures of the multi-party political intervention committees, which will ensure that all political parties play by the rules, but also promotes equally a peaceful existence within the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Thank you, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members.
Thank you, Madam Premier. Honorable members, will now move to the next order, which is formal motions or notices by the Honorable Chief Whip.
Greetings, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier, and honorable members. Honorable Speaker, we don't have any formal motions and notices today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Chief Whip. Honorable members, will now move to the main orders of the day, and 5.1, which is the debate and voting on the conferral of a final mandate on the Housing Consumer Bill. It is for that reason that I call upon the chairperson of the Human Settlements Portfolio Committee to table a report for 5 minutes. The Honorable Mthandeni Dlungwane. Sir.
Ususihlalo.
Kuzofuneka unmute Khetha.
My apologies, Honorable Speaker. I hope I'm audible now. Yes, no, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. The Housing Consumer Protection Bill 2021, B10D 2021, was referred to the Human Settlement Portfolio Committee on the 17th of March 2023. The bill intends to repeal the Housing Consumer Protection Measures Act 1995 of 1998. The bill further seeks to ensure adequate protection of housing consumers and provide for effective regulation of the home building industry. The Human Settlement Portfolio Committee was briefed by the Department of Human Settlement on the 4th of May 2023 in accordance with Section 1181A of the Constitution. The committee also then had 6 hybrid public hearings. The committee called for written submission, but none were received as at the closing date for the submission, which was the 30th of August 2023. During the public hearings, concerns were raised about the NHBRC, the council services in the province, especially in rural areas. Stakeholders requested that the council should be more accessible, available, and visible. The public suggested that the NHBRC offices should be located in municipalities because most people cannot access their online services. Concerns were also raised about the accessing training and skills of builders and skilling of builders, registration and enrollment processes of the NHBRC. Some concerns were raised in the public hearings relating to the delays of the delayed housing projects and the effects such delays can have on housing consumer rights. The public raised concern about their rights to carry out renovations especially in housing built through the social housing programs. They requested that the bill regulates how these renovations can be carried out. Overall, the bill was well supported because of the protection that will be provided to the public against some unscrupulous builders in the home building industry. On the 9th of September 2023, the committee, having considered all inputs and comments from the public, the members voted in support. Committee members voted in support of the bill and agreed to confer a negotiating mandate to the NCOP provincial delegates. On the 24th of October, NCOP Select Committee on Water, Water and Sanitation met and considered the negotiating mandate from the provinces. And on the 12th of March, the D version of the bill was adopted by the Select Committee. On the 15th of March 2024, having considered the NCOP Select Committee report on negotiating mandate, our committee members adopted the committee report on the granting of the final mandate. The committee further recommended that the House grant the final mandate and authority to the head of the provincial delegation to the NCOP or a delegate as designated by the head of delegation to cast the vote in favor of the Housing Consumer Protection Bill 2021 B 10D 2021. We submit, Honorable Chair, and all members of the committee supported the bill. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable members, we now call upon the first member to debate, the Honorable LD Ngubane of the ANC, for 7 minutes.
System pillars of special.
Honorable Ngubane, Honorable Ngubane, Honorable Ngubane, Honorable Ngubane.
Yes.
You are very indistinct. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Can you also show your face, ma'am, please? Yes, Kukahle, is the face showing? We can't even know whether you're speaking to Honorable Ngubane. Switch on your camera, ma'am.
I try some
Honorable Chief Whips, we are at the end of the term. Some things we should not be experiencing really now. Honorable Ngubane, your time is wasted. Try to show your face and speak at the same time. Kuluma sisi ube uzama ukuveza ubuso.
I show my face.
Honorable members, are you hearing properly, Honorable Ngubane, or the connectivity issue is on my side?
There is a connectivity
issue.
Yeah.
Oh, so you cannot hear her. Yeah. Remember, honorable members, that it remains the responsibility of the member and the party to ensure that you are in a place where you find connectivity. You'd remember we even, at the beginning of virtual sittings, suggested that you go to areas that there would be better connectivity, especially if the time of the sitting may coincide with load shedding. So, Honorable Ngubane, we cannot hear you, ma'am, but can you try again, or we move to the next member whilst you are still sorting your issue? You can move, or you can send your speech to, refer your speech to the other member of your party that is in a place that we can hear. or any member of the House who can read it on your behalf, because rules are allowing for that to happen, ma'am.
Try always give
Yes. It's not, we're not only complaining about your face, we're also complaining about not hearing you. And this is a bill. So we should be hearing you, ma'am. And we shouldn't be doing this, really, my dear sister, in the sitting, what we are doing. But continue if you think you can be audible. Now.
Kungalesi sizathu umgomo wethu wezindlu usuguquke kathathu kusukela ngo-1999 ukuze sikwazi ukuhlinzeka iningi labantu bakulelizwe ngezindawo zokuhlaliswa kwabantu eziseduze namathuba ezomnotho kanye nezinsiza zomphakathi ezibenza kwazi ukufeza amaphupho abo ezindlini ezigcwele impilo, ukuphepha kanye nenjabulo. Ngeke sikuphike ukuthi abaphili baqhubeka nokuba sengozini kuguquguquka kwesimo sezulu kanye nokuthi zesimo sezulu ezifana nokushintsha izikhathi zonyaka, isichotho, izikhukhula, nokuhlehlisa intuthuko ngemuva kodlululo. Kanti abanye basebenzisa imali yomshwalense. Lokho-ke continues reinforce inequality and perpetuate poverty and equality across generation. Kungalesi sizathu siqinise umthethosivivinyo wethu wokuvikela abathengi bezindlu odluliselwe ekomidini lwa-Human Settlement elihlose ukuqinisekisa ukuvikela okwanele kwabathengi bezindlu kanye nokulawulwa okusebenzayo kwemboni yokwakha izindlu zomphakathi kwezinye izindlu. Undoubtedly, the government led by the African National Congress continue to address historical injustice, redefine and the approach that consider advantage and human factor. This approach aims to transform approach creativity and innovation, as well as facilitating coordinating between various government agencies and strategic partners. Hence, the ANC is appreciation to organizations and individuals who participate in the process and made insightful submission that had significant impact on the final version of the bill that is brought to this House. Somlo ukhongolose uyakweseka umthethosivivinyo futhi impela abantu bakithi banohulumeni oqotho nonakekelayo ongasoze asidumaza siyisifundazwe saKwaZulu-Natal. Ngiyabonga Somlomo.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Before I call upon the next speaker, I am requesting whips to assist by ensuring that their members are going to be properly in areas with proper connection. And in the instance that that does not happen, the speech be referred to another member. But thank you, Honorable Ngubane, that we ended up where we could hear you and see you, noma siki wenosindwa isila sakho. We are now calling upon the Honorable S. Ban Prakash of the IFP for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Greetings to the Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Speaker, Honorable members, and all present. The bill seeks to, amongst others, repeal the Housing Consumer Protection Act of 1998 in order to provide protection to housing consumers. To this end, the bill seeks to ensure adequate protection of housing consumers and effective regulation of the home building industry by strengthening the regulatory mechanisms, expanding the protection to housing consumers, introducing effective enforcement tools, and prescribing appropriate penalties and sanctions to deter non-compliance by home builders. In addition, the bill creates an enabling environment for new entrants into the home building industry through the introduction of contractual provisions to ensure their sustainability in the market. Every contractor must be registered with the National Home Builders Registration Council. The NHBRC ensures that registered home builders comply with technical requirements. In doing so, the NHBRC represents the builders who are not registered with the NHBRC from building substandard homes, leaving the consumer with no recourse. With the expansion of protection to housing consumers, new enforcement and sanctions imposed on home builders will reduce the current high risk of litigation. Under the Housing Consumers Protection Bill, builders remain mandated to register with the NHBRC, pay an annual renewal fee, and abide by the NHBRC Code of Conduct. Not only does this further strengthen the protection of consumers under the Home Warranty Fund, but it will elevate building standards. However, the IFP notes that it is not indicated in the bill how grading of home builders will be determined, except that grading categories and criteria will be made by the board of the Home Builders Regulatory Council on recommendation of the council. This needs to be clarified. Despite the fact that a large amount of technical and legislative information on good house construction practices is available, unacceptable construction quality is apparent throughout the entire spectrum of housing. The IFP is of the view that the passing of the bill into law will strengthen the home building environment to benefit of the consumers and will lead to building quality homes across the country. The IFP is concerned about the mediocre work done by KwaZulu-Natal contractors who dismally fail to complete projects on schedule and to maintain good standards of quality. It is unacceptable for any incompetent contractor to be awarded a tender to build RDP houses. The IFP also notes that the primary concern of the building industry is that the bill could put small businesses at risk and lead to job losses in the sector as a result of clamping down on unregulated builders and contractors. By mandating registration with the Home Builders Registration Council, the annual membership fee could put further financial strain on contractors that struggle to break even when taking on construction contracts. The IFP supports empowerment of small businesses. Quality of work cannot be compromised under the guise of empowerment, while we urge all builders to register businesses. Unregistered contractors must be prosecuted. Further, government and contractors associations should develop a quality standard for acceptable materials that can be used in the construction industry to ensure full compliance by all contractors. The IFP supports the bill. I thank you.
Thank you. The next member, honorable members, for 4 minutes is Honorable Nai of the DA.
Good morning, Madam Speaker, and to all honorable members online. Let me start by saying that this is a really good bill, but it requires a strong, functioning government in order to succeed. Now, the majority of people who attended the public hearings did not actually comment on the bill itself, but shared their fury and frustration with us over the following. Firstly, the lack of adequate housing in KZN. The corruption in housing allocations. Decades of poor quality housing delivered by government. How housing and title deeds are used as electioneering tools at every election. Concerns about delayed housing projects and the effects of such delays could have on housing consumer rights. A very valid concern indeed, since we have had certain housing projects incomplete for decades. They complained of politicians who made empty housing promises at every election and then failed to deliver. Then there was the issue of defaulting contractors who abandoned projects for years. Now, shockingly in KZN, these contractors can proceed to obtain work in other municipalities and spheres of government where they have not defaulted as yet. Now, other than a list that's kept in the Premier's office, there is no red flagging mechanism in place to stop them. This is indeed a problem, as the Select Committee emphasized that for there to be effective regulation, there must be coordination and cooperation between municipalities and provincial governments. We don't have that here. Now, when the NCOP Select Committee deliberated on the submissions made by KZN, specifically the concerns raised by many that we are a disaster-prone province and that the bill does not make provision for cover relating to storm damage, the committee advised that all provinces have disaster management centers that provide for assistance and could adequately deal with this. Now, they believe that the bill did not need to be amended in this regard. Now, this would be fine if we had a proper, well-functioning disaster management center, just like the Western Cape has. Unfortunately, KZN's disaster management center is dysfunctional. Now, the success of this piece of legislation requires a government with the capacity and the commitment to excellence, as well as a track record of delivering on promises, not just at election time. It requires a government that will put people first, ahead of defaulting contractors, and ensure that housing consumer rights are protected. It's not rocket science as to which government this is. Of course, it is the DA-led government, one that does not negotiate with criminal construction mafias who delay projects and rob innocent people of the opportunity to have housing. Now, we are ready to govern KZN. We have the capacity, we have the competence, and therefore, Madam Speaker, we support this bill. I thank you.
You are coming to dream here. This is not
Honorable members, thank you. The next member to take the podium is the Honorable P.P. Herricks for 3 minutes from the EFF. Ma Herricks, Honorable Herricks. Honorable Herricks is not in the sitting, but her party has given us that name that we'll be debating. So she falls off, and we also don't have an apology from Honorable P.P. Herricks of the EFF. Now I will go to the next member, Honorable C.M. Shinga, 1 minute for the NFP. Honorable Shinga.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the NFP acknowledges and supports the bill as it seeks to repeal the Housing Consumers Protection Act of Act 1998, Act number 95 of 1998, and ensure adequate protection of housing consumers and effective regulation of the home building industry by strengthening the regulatory mechanisms, strengthening the protection of housing consumers. Honorable Speaker, the NFP welcomes the bill as it extends the warranty funds coverage duration from the start of construction to 5 years after the council inspectors certify compliance with the technical standards. The amount of coverage is not raised, and every claim made and paid from the warranty fund during the construction will be deducted. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. We now move to the next speaker on behalf of the MF, Honorable Thakur Rajbansi. 1 minute.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. The Minority Front supports the Housing Consumer Protection Bill. This bill provides the environment and supports structures for registering and regulating home builders because many contracts are verbal, and this is where the problems lie, or even contracts which are drafted to protect the home builders and not the consumers. With the enforcement of this act should also come templates of consumer protective contracts by the National Home Builders Registration Council based on the amendments herein. This bill will also align progress made last year in the passing of other types of housing legislation, like that of the body corporates. With these words, the MF supports this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Rajbansi. The next member is the Honorable M.E. Phakathi of the ATM. Honorable M.E. Phakathi is not in the house, unless there's a speech that we're not informed of. We therefore call upon the Honorable Chairperson of the Health Portfolio Committee, Honorable N.R. Majola, on behalf of the ANC for 7 minutes.
Phezu kwabo.
Khoi, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Masok.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Speaker and the Deputy, Honorable Premier and your Executive, I greet you all together with my colleagues in the House. Before I can even start, I just want to remind Honorable Marlene, I don't even know his name, that under the apartheid the housing segregation was mandated by their law, which meant that the non-whites could not live in white designated areas, but they had to live in the designated of non-whites in townships or the impoverished areas known as the Bantustan. So you cannot come here and grandstand about something that your forefathers have failed to do. You better first check what has happened, what you have done before you come to the House and grandstand. Honorable Speaker, we are standing on behalf of the African National Congress, that is the ANC, to support the report of the Portfolio Committee on Human Settlements on the Housing Consumer Protection Bill. Honorable Speaker, it is crucial that we again take this chance to express our gratitude to the people of this province for taking the time to provide the feedback on the bill after it was publicized. The bill is significant because, among other things, it ensures that home buyers are adequately protected and that the home building industry is effectively regulated.
Point of order.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, which rule?
74(1)A.
Okay, as I open my rule book, 74(1)A.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable...
No, wait. We will go together to 74(1)A. Yes, 74(1)A is a member may not personal reflection on members and verbal abuse. Yes. An accusation of improper motives against another member.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Majola suggests, and she made specific reference to the Honorable Naya, and she said that, or suggested that she was responsible for what she seems to suggest.
No, she did not, Honorable Kika. No, Honorable Kika, she did not say that. I was listening properly.
She said you.
Honorable Kika, take your seat. Honorable Kika, the member was on a point of debate and there was no personal reflections on the member. You may continue,
Honorable. We will contest that, Madam Speaker.
Of course, Honorable Kika, you contest the rulings made in this House. We know that you will contest it. It's your right. You will contest. You contest. It's contained in the rule that when you have something to write to, you'll write to the presiding officer. But also, I think you will also have to refer to the rules about the precedence of the presidium in the sittings, Honorable Kika, so that when I'm making a ruling, we do not also do what you are making me do now. Honorable Majola, can you go on with your speech?
Thank you, Mafuda. This bill is significant because, among other things, it ensures that home buyers are adequately protected and that the home building industry is effectively regulated. Equally, the bill proposes to strengthen the regulatory mechanisms, increase consumer protection, introduce efficient enforcement mechanisms, and specify suitable penalties or sanctions to discourage home builders from breaking the law as outlined by our chairperson. However, the bill includes consequential amendments necessitated by the passing of the Housing Consumer Protection Bill. Hence, this progressive committee came to conclude that Clause 41, subsection 4 should be reconsidered in relation to exclusion of claims arising from the damage caused by storms and floods. After the recent storms in our province, we were reminded to make sure this clause is included in this bill because it is undeniable that climate change has been identified globally and in our province, KZN. It has killed our people, destroyed homes, and forced our people to relocate within 2 or 3 days. Malunga ahloniphekileyo, inyaniso engenakuphikwa ukuba i-National Home Builders Registration Council ngumbutho obalulekileyo that regulates the home building environment and protects the homeowners from the builders who construct inadequate buildings or buildings that fail to meet the standards. Nangona kunjalo, singathanda ukuba ama-ofisi we-NHRBC zibe oomasipala bethu kufutshane nabantu bethu. Sikwafuna ukuba abantu bethu bafikelele kwinkqubo zobhaliso nobhaliso lwe-NHRBC, uqeqesho nophuhliso lwezakhono njengoko uninzi lwabantu bethu kuswele izixhobo ezaneleyo zokuba yinxalenye yalo mbutho. Siyawubulela ke lo mthetho-sivivinyo kuba uadresa izinto ezintathu. During that training, abantu bakuthi the issue of the poverty, they get trained, they get employed. The issue of poverty, unemployment, and inequality. Apho njengoba abantu bakuthi sebekwazi ukuyohlala kwiindawo ezazi-designated as ezabantu abamhlophe, ondlebe zikhanya ilanga. We also understand that the NHBRC has agreements with the several municipalities to guarantee that its services and training are delivered inside those municipalities, and that negotiations to sign a memorandum of understanding for the benefit of all municipalities are underway with the South African local government associations. However, we request that this process be accelerated. Speaker, the ANC's vision for the people of KwaZulu-Natal is still based on the Freedom Charter, considering the incredible anticipation of our believe that strengthening the housing system is crucial to enhancing and creating a more equitable housing system that benefits a resident of this province equally. Iyangixaka indaba yokuthi Honorable Naire, whoever she is, azothetha
Honorable Majola, you cannot say a member is whoever she is. You withdraw that, ma'am.
I withdraw, Honorable Speaker. Without doubt, our forebearers will no doubt be pleased to learn that what they anticipated, suffered for, and worked so hard to accomplish is now a reality. Nevertheless, Speaker, the Housing Consumer Protection Bill, which was reported by the Portfolio Committee on the Human Settlement, has our continued support. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. We now call upon the Honorable Chairperson Dlungwane to respond to the debate for 5 minutes.
No, thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I would really want to appreciate the members.
The Vice Chair, I'm not sure it's the Chair who's speaking.
You can't see me, Chair, Honorable Speaker. I think my camera is on, Honorable Speaker.
Now it is on. You may continue, Honorable Chair.
No, thank you so much. We would like to appreciate the members that have debated on this bill, which is a very important bill, Honorable Chair, because it seeks to protect abantu ikakhulukazi abekade bengaprotectiwe before entweni ethinta ukwakhiwa kwezindlu ukuhlala kwabo, ikakhulukazi kubantu akade bakha izindlu esikhathini esedlule. Lokuvikeleka, Honorable Chair, njengoba sikhuluma nje, it does not necessarily mean that ohulumeni bebengekho before. But it is this ANC government that is working hard to protect abantu, ikakhulukazi labo abasekuhlaleni endaweni ezahlukahlukene. Angisho nje, Honorable Chair, ukuthi I'm disappointed to say this ku-Honorable naye ngokuthi I mention just izinto ezingasange zimention kuma-public hearings. One, into yokuthi kunokulekha kwezindlu in KwaZulu-Natal. That has never came out in the public hearings. And we're together with her in almost all of the public hearings that we had. There's never been an issue relating to the corruption and in the allocation that came out of the public hearings. And of course, Honorable Speaker, the issue is that the DA has actually lost their points. They are now not sure what to raise because this bill has been received support throughout the province and amongst all of the political parties, because it's one of the bills that deals directly with issues that affect people on the ground. So I think it's just the grandstanding that we've seen now on the side of the DA, but we want to appreciate all other members that have really contributed in the success of this bill. And of course, what we are saying, Chair, Honorable Speaker, is that the municipalities, the NHBRC, must be located within the municipalities, because this would help in terms of accessibility, and this is what all of us, we've agreed upon, Honorable Chair. But we are saying that the mandate that the this ANC government has been getting, abantu abaphume bahambe bayoyivuselela le mandate, abantu bavuselele imandate yokuthi u-ANC uqhubeke nohulumeni wakhe ukwenza isiqiniseko ukuthi ushintshe impilo zabantu. Sibonga kakhulu. Abaphuma abantu bavuselele imandate bavotele ukhongolose. Thank you so much.
bahambe bayovotela ukhongolose.
Thank you, honorable members. We have now come to the end of the debate on the Housing Consumer Protection Bill of 2021, Bill B10D 2021. The House now needs to confer a final and voting mandate on the bill as per the request of the Human Settlements Portfolio Committee. I now put the question to the House as follows. The KwaZulu-Natal Legislature agrees to confer authority on 1. The KZN provincial delegation to the NCOP to cast a vote in favor of the Housing Consumer Protection Bill of 2021, B10D 2021, at the relevant NCOP Select Committee. And 2, the head of the provincial delegation to the NCOP or a delegate designated by the head of the delegation to cast a vote in favor of the Housing Consumer Protection Bill of 2021, B10D 2021, at the NCOP plenary. Those in support of the mandate authorizing the KZN provincial delegation and the head of the provincial delegation or his delegate to cast a vote in support of the Housing Consumer Protection Bill of 2021, B10D 2021, bill vote in the party manner that we have allowed earlier. We'll start with the Inkatha Freedom Party.
Honourable Speaker, honourable members, the IFP supports the bill. Thank you.
The Democratic Alliance.
Greetings, Madam Speaker. The Democratic Alliance supports the bill.
The Economic Freedom Fighters. EFF. Secretary, is there EFF in the House? EFF. I understand that there's Honorable Mchali in the House of the EFF, but EFF? NFP?
Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
My apologies, this is the network speaker. The EFF supports.
No, can we see the face of the person voting so that not of the chairperson of
the network challenge speaker.
Yes, with the network challenge, you show the face and then thereafter you are allowed to switch off your video because we are voting, honorable member. We don't just have to assume that it's honorable so and so that is speaking. It's an established practice here in the House.
Speaker, I'm sorry.
Show the face, honorable Mchali. Honorable Mchali.
Yes.
Show the face, honorable Mchali, or we move to the next party.
Yes, Speaker.
Okay, you can vote as you are buttoning up. You can vote as you are buttoning up your top. The EFF supports. We now move to the NFP. Thank you, ma'am. NFP.
Honourable Speaker, honourable members, the NFP supports the bill.
MF.
Honourable Speaker, the Minority Front supports the bill.
No, honourable members, I think there is a mistake we made here. ACDP. Are they in the House? ACDP. They are still not in the House. ATM is not in the House. African National Congress.
Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the African National Congress support the bill. Thank you.
Honorable members, I have the votes of all parties. Is there any member who wishes to express an individual vote that is different from their party vote or to abstain? Is there any member who wishes to do so? Madam Secretary, is there any?
Good morning, Madam Speaker. I'm not able to see anyone raising their hands.
Then let's have the tally of the vote, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Votes in favour, 65. Votes against, no. Abstentions, no.
Honourable members, I therefore formally declare the result of the vote as follows. Those in favour, 65, against, nil, and abstentions, nil. It is recorded that the mandate authorising the KZN provincial delegation and the head of the provincial delegation or his delegate to vote in support of the Housing Consumer Protection Bill of 2021, B10D 2021, is supported. That concludes voting on the conferral of a final mandate on the Housing Consumer Protection Bill and the conclusion of the item concerning the conferral of a final mandate on the Housing Consumer Protection Bill. as per the order paper. Now, honorable members, we will move to the next, which is the debate on the amended resolution of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. And we now call upon the Honorable Chairperson of the Standing Committee, Honorable Governor, to lead us with the report for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just as background to this report, the House had adopted a report regarding the authorization of unauthorized expenditure resolutions that was tabled by SCOPA. But subsequent to that and in discussions with Treasury, it was recommended that we make an amendment to the dates and the time frame of the first charges. So this is what this report is about. It covers two departments, the Departments of Education and Health. So, Chairperson, the first resolution. So the introduction here, we've put it in there. On the 21st of March, we adopted the resolutions. 29 of 2023, 31 of 2023, and 32 of 2023 on the authorization of unauthorized expenditure of the Department of Education in 2019-20 and 21-22, and the Department of Health in 2019-20. The House then adopted those resolutions on the 25th of May. So in terms of Resolution 29 of 2023 and 31 of 2023, the unauthorized expenditure for the Department of Education amounting to 235.729 million in 1920 and 719.217 million in 21-22 was authorized as first charges respectively against the future budget of the department over a 5-year period commencing in the 24-25 financial year. In terms of Resolution 32 of 2023, the unauthorized expenditure for the Department of Health amounting to 91.617 million in the 19-20 financial year was authorized as a first charge against the future budget of the department over a 5-year period commencing in the 24-25 financial year. On the 23rd of January 2024, SCOPA received a written request from Provincial Treasury to review these resolutions, the 3 resolutions that I have referred to, as the Provincial Executive had raised concerns about the impact of the first charges on service delivery within the 2 departments in view of the drastic budget cuts over the midterm expenditure framework period. Provincial Treasury recommended that we consider approval of the relevant unauthorized expenditure as first charges over a 7-year period commencing in the 25-26 financial year, and SCOPA agreed with the recommendation and adopted this report on the 11th of March 2024. So Vote 5, Department of Education, the revised resolution is as follows, and Chair, Honourable Speaker, what I will do is I will not read the noting part, I'll just read the resolving part because the report is with members. So this is Resolution 1 of 2024, Department of Education unauthorized expenditure for the 19-20 financial year, 235.729 million relating to Resolution 29 of 23. And we then resolve that Resolution 1 of 2024 be substituted for Resolution 29 of 2023, the unauthorized expenditure disclosed in the 2019-20 financial statements of the Department of Education amounting to 235.729 million be authorized as a first charge against the future budget of the department in terms of Section 34(2) of the Public Finance Management Act 1999, Act 1 of 1999, over a 7-year period commencing from the 25-26 financial year. Resolution 2, Honourable Speaker, the Department of Education unauthorized expenditure for the 21-22 financial year, 719.217 million relating to Resolution 31 of 2023. Again, I'll skip the noting parts, Honourable Speaker, go to the resolution. The committee resolves that Resolution 2 of 2024 be substituted for Resolution 31 of 2023. The unauthorized expenditure disclosed in the 21-22 annual financial statements of the Department of Education amounting to 719.217 million be authorized as a first charge against the future budgets of the department in terms of Section 34(2) of the Public Finance Management Act of 1999 over a 7-year period commencing from the 25-26 financial year. Then vote 7, the Department of Health, Resolution 3 of 2024, Department of Health unauthorized expenditure for the 2019-20 financial year, 91.617 million relating to Resolution 32 of 2023, and the committee there resolved that Resolution 3 of 2024 be substituted for Resolution 32 of 2023. The unauthorized expenditure disclosed in the 1920 annual financial statements of the Department of Health amounting to 91.617.
Honorable
Yes,
Governor, we can take minutes from your responding time because yours has expired.
Thank you. Amounting to 91.617 million be authorized as the first charge against the future budgets of the department in terms of Section 34.2 of the PFMA 1999 over a 7-year period commencing from the 25-26 financial year. So, Honourable Speaker, the report on the substitution of Resolution 1 of 2024, 2 of 2024, and 3 of 2024 for Resolutions 29 of 23, 31 of 23, and 32 of 23, respectively, is hereby submitted for adoption by the House. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Governor. We'll now move on to the debate now by calling upon the Honourable T.S. Mchali of the ANC for 7 minutes. Honourable Mchali. Honourable Mchali. Honourable Mchali is not on the platform. Is there a member with a speech? We will then move to the next member, which is Honourable L.J. de Klerk for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. On the 15th of May last year, this House adopted the resolutions for the authorization of unauthorized expenditure. Now, a year later, we are back to deal with the same issues. Warren Buffett said, and I quote, "It is not necessary to do extraordinary things to get results." We are not getting the desired results because we refuse to take the hard but simple decisions. Unauthorized expenditure in main refers to over-expenditure, which directly indicates poor planning and execution of the budgets. It doesn't help to blame other issues such as cost-cutting, as these are also caused by poor planning and poor policy of the national government. We refuse to administer the right medicine, which is what the PFMI prescribes, and also the Treasury regulations. When an official discovers unauthorized expenditure, it must immediately report it to the accounting officer. Thereafter, the accounting officer must take disciplinary steps if appropriate. Now, honourable members, this doesn't happen. The same officials carry on year in and year out to commit the same sins, and nobody is taken to task. The truth is that we as a legislator is causing the problem or exasperating the problem to become worse, or is causing the problem to become worse as we allow these unauthorized expenditure to continue, and even assist by extending the time period on which the first charge to the relevant departments can be paid off. It is absurd, as we know the Department of Health and Education will do it again this year and the next year. We are merely kicking the can down the road. If this is the correct route to take, why don't we just make the payment period 100 years? What stops us? This example illustrates to us how wrong our actions is. It is imperative that we follow the PFMA and the Treasury regulation and hold the department officials accountable. If we do not, this horrible position will continue for many years. The normal back payment is 3 years. This we extended last year to 5 years. It's the first time in 20 years that I could pick up 5 years. Now we're extending it to 7 years. This is a horrible position. Honourable members, may the election of the 29th of May 2024 bring a new leadership with new commitment and a new vision that will clean out the rot and save our beloved province and country. I thank you.
The next member, the next member for 4 minutes is the Honorable Rogers. We have been requested that if your network is not correct, there will be someone taking over, but I think it's perfect. You can go on, Honorable Rogers of the DA.
Molo Somlom. Somlom, as they say in the classics, ignoring the signs is a good way to end up at the wrong destination. For some time now, the province has faced an ever-tightening fiscal noose. Continued provincial budget cuts and austerity measures have been on the agenda with little or no substantial effect on the dwindling provincial budgets. Cuts to the provincial equitable share have become our new norm. The financial crisis is no new phenomenon. It's been steadily creeping upon us like a thief in the night. The stark reality, Madam Speaker, is that there's no foreseeable solution on the horizon. It will certainly get worse before it gets better. The question is, the current situation improving or worsening? Has the ANC-led government learned anything from the past? The simple answer has to be a resounding no. Allow me to take you back to the 2016-17 financial year. This House convened to approve unauthorised expenditure. That figure stood at 105 million rand. Then to over R500 million in the 2018-19 year, a direct result of the budget cuts and the tough economic times that we find ourselves in. Now the unauthorised expenditure for the Department of Education amounting to 235 million in 1920 and 1,719 million in 21-22, and the Department of Health now coming in at 91.6 million. That's over 1 billion rand in unauthorised expenditure over the past 2 years. Did the ANC government learn anything from the past? It has to be a resounding no. Instead, it continued on its path of fiscal destruction, spending at will, and continuing on its path of building a bloated bureaucracy. Fiscal consolidation is only a phrase whispered in the dark halls of the ANC, led by the executive, rather increasing the posts instead of freezing vacancies. This billion rand unauthorised expenditure has now become first charge to the Department of Health and Education and would initially have been paid back over 5 years. Now the executive suddenly realises that there's a major crisis and that both these departments will not be able to meet their mandate if their baselines are cut over 5 years, but instead went to Treasury, cap in hand, to ask that the billion rand be cut from the baseline budget over 7 years. What took the executive so long to realise the situation? Were they asleep at the wheel or just a lack of financial foresight? My question, Madam Speaker, to the ANC executive is, what if there's further unauthorised expenditure during the next 7 years by these departments? That likelihood is real. Does unauthorised expenditure now just become another budget line item? It's a mess, and it's an ANC mess, and one that will be inherited by a new government on the 30th of May 2024. We have solutions, and we will rectify your mess. Diabulela Somlom.
Honourable members, we now call upon the Honourable P.P. Herricks of the EFF for 3 minutes. I am not sure whether she's now back in the House. She's now in the House. I am not aware whether there is, Honourable Mchali, an arrangement to have someone reading her speech. EFF? Okay. It's clear there is none. We'll now move to Honourable C.M. Shinga for 1 minute of the NFP.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. The NFP welcomes and supports the report by the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. We deem it necessary to substitute the Resolution 29 of 2023, 31 of 2023, and 32 of 2024 with the Resolution 1 of 2024, 2 of 2024, and 3 of 2024. The amounts of unauthorized expenditure, both in education and health departments, incurred were substantial. These amounts, which are very significant, have the potential to hinder service delivery if they become a first charge in the financial year over a short period of time. Furthermore, if these departments incur additional unauthorized expenditure, the previous year's unauthorized expenditure will be impossible to pay off, taking into account the significant budget reductions made to the aforementioned departments over the medium term expenditure.
The next member is the Honorable Mrs. S. Rajbanzi of the MF.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, both health and education are heavily labor-intensive in infrastructure and consumables are cost drivers based on daily challenges faced. In view of the difficulty to do proper scenario planning, the Minority Front supports SCOPA's resolutions on the extension of the periods of reporting for unauthorized expenditure from 5 to 7 years, starting in the 2025-2026 financial years. This extended time is a much-needed relief for these departments. However, hopefully the tightening of supply chain management and procurement centrally will go hand in hand to correct the heavy unauthorized expenditure currently incurred by both health and education. The MF supports SCOPA's resolutions of the 11th of March 2024, replacing those of the 21st of March 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mrs. Rajbanzi. We'll call upon the Honorable M.E. Pagati of the ATM. He is not in the house. He has put in an apology. Call upon the Honorable Mangale of the ACDP. Not sure if he's back in the house. Honorable Mangale. Honorable Mangale. Honorable Mangale, we can see you on the platform. I'll contact Patisiwa Mhlonishwa Ushinga, Bishop.
Bishop Ngelezana.
Honorable members, you'd be remembered that being present in the sitting means that you are able to participate in the proceedings of the sitting as you are. So, Honorable Mangale, we will pass and go on to the Honorable Z.L.I. Tele, the chairperson of COCTA, on behalf of the ANC for 7 minutes.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker Mahubela, the Deputy Speaker Mvelase, our Premier, Nzwagele, our Leader of Government Business, Ntombeni, who's the Chairperson of the African National Congress, Honorable MECs, Honorable Members of this august House, I greet you all. I would like to begin by thanking my organization, the African National Congress, Ingolema Sondo Sondo, for affording me this opportunity to partake in this debate. Also send my gratitude to the people of KwaZulu-Natal for voting my organization so that I could be a member of this august House in this 6th administration. Honorable Speaker, we dare not fail to appreciate the opportunity bestowed upon us. Siyabonga. Honorable Speaker, I would like to quote the President of the Republic of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, in his speech that he made when we were commemorating Impilo Yesilo Sasosuthu Inkosi uDinizulu kaCetshwayo in KwaCeza this weekend. I quote, "Your Majesty, the honor is even greater in that we commemorate and celebrate the life of King Dinizulu. We are also celebrating 30 years of democracy and freedom in South Africa. It is a freedom that many, including Silo Dinizulu, fought for and greatly sacrificed." I close quote. Little did the president know that the celebration will turn to a bloodbath, where innocent children and women were attacked by the end of the event. Isilo sasoSuthu is turning in his grave. Ebona abantwana nomama besizwe saso behlaselwa amadojeyane akhohlakele ezenza amabutho. Ngisho kuthiwa ayedinwe yini echelwe ngaluphi uhlobo lentelezi, kodwa ukuhlasela abantwana nomama yichilo bahlonishwa. Honorable members, nampa abantwana nomama abalimale kuwo lo mcimbi. Ubuthelezi Phumzile, Mvelo Xulu, Nompumelelo Dlamini, Silungile Zulu, Olwethu Mthetho, Similo Mnyandeni, Sicelo Sithole, Siphelele Masuku, Thulani Sibiya, Mandlenkosi Khumalo, Mxolisi Mnyandeni, Philani Mbatha. Sibafisela ukululama okusheshayo bahlonishwa. From the above, I'm grateful of the ANC-led government for assisting our people who were almost killed and are receiving the necessary attention from hospitals and clinics built by the ANC. In health, under the ANC-led government, the opening of Dr. Pixley Isaagaseme Hospital and its significance in bringing free healthcare closure to the people, to the poor communities. The key role played by primary healthcare facilities and the fact that ARVs and TB medication is provided free and has stemmed the spread of HIV and AIDS as well as TB, also reduced the infant mortality rate and the excellent management of COVID-19. Honorable Speaker, allow me to congratulate the Department of Health for more than 200 letters of appointments have been issued by this ANC-led government to unemployed doctors, and more letters will be issued soon. As the ANC-led government, we are committed to ensuring izimpilo zabantu bakithi ziyabhekelelwa and ziba ngcono. However, Honorable Speaker, let us also remind this House
Honorable de Klerk, are you raising a point, sir?
That's correct, Speaker.
Which rule?
A point of order. What's the relevance?
Rule.
What's the relevance?
What is the rule you are raising on, Honorable de Klerk? That's how we run in the House. Honorable de Klerk, you may continue without any disturbance, Honorable Cele.
Says I will speak. However, Honorable Speaker, let us also remind this House that the Department of Health has lost over 14 billion in 4 years for its in its fiscal. Siyabonga ukuthi bayakwazi nokuqhubeka ukwenza umsebenzi, honorable members. We support this resolution taken by SCOPA on the 11th of March 2024. Honorable Speaker, in her State of the Province address, our Premier reminded us of the painful history in our province as KZN. She clearly outlined that in this era of rampant of historic revisionism, it has become fashionable for some amongst us to elect, to ignore, or worse, to forget the context of where we come from, and ultimately from the truth to become a casualty. Within the same vein, with few months to our national and provincial elections, we should remember that KZN was not always a unified province, but also was almost suffocated at birth by some of the deadliest political intolerance and instability that was unprecedented in our country. Speaker, I stand here today with a very heavy heart. Sikhumbula the killings in Kwamakhuta, Ongoye, Hammersdale massacres, the 7th-day war, and other. Asifisa ukubuyela khona, Speaker. Ngakho sicela ukuthula. Honorable Speaker, we must hasten to remember the meaning of unauthorized expenditure, Honorable de Klerk. Njengoba uloku ukhuluma nje usibangela umsindo, we hope that your organization izobuyisa. Honorable Speaker, allow me to conclude by quoting our former President Nelson Mandela when he clearly articulated the struggle of the Palestinians when he said, I quote, "We know too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinian." With that in mind, honorable members, we must all adhere to the call by the ANC for a peace in Palestine and Israel conflict, and affirm the call by the President Mandela, and also to call for peace in KwaZulu-Natal. I thank you.
Members.
Before President Zuma.
Akasekho nje Zuma.
Yini Khawula, wangifunani Khawula?
Honorable Shinga, Honorable Kaula, Honorable Tsele, I was concluding here and the three of you were making it a bit difficult, and Honorable Dube. Now I will call upon the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts for 4 minutes to respond to the debate.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. At the outset, let me say that these resolutions were unanimously adopted at SCOPA. So although there were certain considerations raised, and some of them were valid. Honourable Speaker, SCOPA would not have authorised the unauthorised expenditure had it not considered the fact that that expenditure was something that was unavoidable. But the reason that it's unauthorized is that it had not been put into the budgets of the departments. Secondly, Honourable Speaker, the fact that there are budget cuts all round, all departments, including the legislature, have experienced budget cuts, tells us that we are living in a difficult situation. The world as a whole is struggling economically, and South Africa is not exempt. So, Honourable Speaker, in that context, we then considered the recommendation and the request by Treasury in a favourable light, because we didn't want to go through a tick box exercise of just insisting that the unauthorized expenditure first charges take place over the 5-year period and immediately, when in fact service delivery would be negatively impacted, given that there were major budget cuts. And also the fact that these two departments are major service delivery departments in the province. So, Honourable Speaker, as SCOPA, we behaved responsibly in amending these resolutions. It's not a condonement. It's an understanding of the context we are in and the conditions we find ourselves in, and acting appropriately in order to minimize any disadvantage against the communities that we are supposed to serve. I thank all members who have participated in the debate, Honourable Speaker, and thank you very much for allowing us to debate this. Thanks, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honourable Governor, and also to all the honourable members. We have now then come to the end of the debate on the report of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts on the substitution of Resolution 1 of 2024 and 3 and Resolution 2 of 2024 and 3 on the substitution of Resolution 29 of 2023, 31 of 2023, and 32 of 2023 for Resolution 1 of 2024, Resolution 2 of 2024, and 3 of 2024 on the authorization of unauthorized expenditure for the Departments of Education and Health. The House now needs to vote on the adoption of the report as per the recommendation of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. I now put the question to the House as follows. The KZN Legislature agrees to adopt the report of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts on the substitution of Resolution 29, 31, and 32 of 2023 for Resolution 1, 2, and 3 of 2024 on the authorization of unauthorized expenditure for the Departments of Education and Health. As I indicated prior to the start of the debate, I will now go party by party to obtain the vote and thereafter check if any member wishes to record an individual vote. I will now call upon the IFP.
Votes against the report. Thank you.
The Democratic Alliance.
Thank you for the opportunity, Madam Speaker. The Democratic Alliance supports them.
The EFF. Honorable Manchinga, are you still in the House? Anyone from the EFF on the House, Madam Secretary? Anyone in the House?
Madam Speaker, we are unable to see the EFF in the House.
The EFF is not in the House. No apologies. We'll now go to the NFP.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, we will vote in favor of the report.
The MF.
Madam Speaker, the Minority Front supports the report.
I see that there is Honorable Mangele SE unverified.
Yes, Madam Speaker, my apology for what has happened, but I voted in favor of the bill. Thank you, ma'am.
Then we will go to the ATM. The ATM is not in the House. Then we'll move straight to the African National Congress.
Honorable Speaker, the ANC support the report.
I don't see the voice of the member speaking. The member voting for of the ANC. ANC.
Honorable.
The face chief whip, or the chief whip, the face chief whip.
Speaker, can you hear me now?
No, the face is the face that we are not seeing on who is voting. We hear the voting. You can do it when the face is also showing.
It's Honorable James Ngomalo.
The face chief whip, the face chief whip. Siyavota.
I'm trying to open the face. Can you hear me? Can you see me now?
Actually, you see the chief whip. No, the chief whip's camera is not on. Probably, if you have a challenge, someone on your party can vote for you.
Honorable Zinhle, can you come in, please?
Thank you.
The house. Him get votisayo. ANC.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. The ANC supports the bill.
Members, I have the votes of all parties. Is there any member who wishes to express an individual vote that is different from their party vote or to abstain? Madam Secretary, if there is none, I can get the tally of the votes, but if there is a member, you can call the member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. There is no reflection of any member having wanting to indicate an individual vote. Madam Speaker, the votes in favor is 63, votes against nil, abstentions nil.
No. The IFP voted against the report. We can't have nil. The IFP has voted against the resolution.
Apologies, Madam Speaker. Apologies, Madam Speaker. That would make it votes in favor 50. Votes in favor 50.
Honorable members, do the jokes and the bickering at your own time. This is a crucial time of voting. I'm referring to Honorable Kaula and Honorable Dube. Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Votes in favor 50, votes against 13, abstentions nil.
Honorable members, I therefore have the confirmed votes, which with the results that are as follows. Those in favor are 50, against 13, and no abstentions. I therefore formally declare that the ayes have it. And then we conclude voting on the report of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, where we substituted Resolution 29, 31, and 32 of 2023 with Resolution 1, 2, and 3 of 2024 on the authorization of unauthorized expenditure for the Departments of Education and Health. And that then brings us to the end of the item on the order paper concerning the adoption of the report of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. on the substitution of Resolution 29, 31, and 32, 2023 with Resolution 1, 2, and 3 of 2024 on the authorization of the unauthorized expenditure for the Departments of Education and Health is concluded. Now, honorable members, we have come to the end of the matters that were on the order paper, and the House is adjourned.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker.
Usengakhuluma lo Dubo khona odelelayo.
Nancy, I hope your taxi is ready because you're coming back with a taxi. You will not get more than 6 seats. Lekker taxi. Your taxi must be roadworthy.
So we are not joking. Qoqani ikhwama manje.
Amahlathi aphelile.
Qoqani ikhwama lamasela lawo.
Yini inkinga yakho Msimanga?
Qoqani ikhwama.
Just make sure your taxi is roadworthy, otherwise nobody comes.
Wena declare.
Amasela phelile wantshontsho 33 million. Amasela lawo. Ukhuluma ngesela. 33 million gone down the drain.
Akona amasela namasela esele.
Upelulo lombuso wenu. Wena Duba wena mene tekele.
Niyawabona la
wena umfundisi Mbumbulu.
Anona amasela elikhulu.
Mene tekele wena umfundisi Ndini.
Utekele bani?